How's it going, everyone? Here we are with another edition of Game of the Week. I'm alone, so let's just jump into it. With the reviews, the East versus the North. The East was 3-0-1 last week, which brings their 2-week total up to 7-0-1. With the individual games, the Gray Unit beat O's 6-5-1. MVP Ryan Braun, batting .407 with 3 doubles, a home run, 12 runs. GOAT Pablo Sandoval, a 103 average with 4 total bases. Now we'll go on to Silent but Deadly beat Fist 10-1-1. MVP Jake Peavy. 2 wins, 2 earned runs, and 17 Ks in 2 starts. I predicted Jake Peavy to be terrible last week. I was completely wrong. Congratulations, Nick. Hopefully he can get it going for you. GOAT Brian Matus. 2 losses, 7 earned runs, 4 Ks. Third Base Club beat Twin Tornadoes 9-3. MVP, Jabba Chamberlain, filling in Mariano Rivera nicely with 2 saves, 1 hit, with 0 earned runs, and 1 1/3 inning. GOAT, Luke Scott, and Russell Branyan, a 3 for 21 combined. Lemansky's really got to step up his games, got to start get more active, jump on the computer more. I know he's got some computer issues. Then we're going to go on to Web Gems and Slide, tied 5-5-2. MVP, Tyler Clipter. 3 wins as a relief pitcher, and Brandon Phillips with 2 home runs and 2 RBIs. It is what it is. GOAT Scott Feldman, 11 runs in 11 innings, and 1 loss. Mark DeRosa, 31 average with 4 total bases. Neither of these guys are really active. If one of them checked in last week, they probably would have won. So it is what it is. I don't, whatever. If you guys want to step up, if not, it looks like we're going to have to make changes. Then we're going to go on to Smack Your Bitch Up, beat Nation of Domination 7-5. Kudos to Buck for sticking in with the hot Martel. Buck had a pretty good week, but Martel just had better. MVP Alex Rios, 464 average, 3 home runs, 29 total bases. GOAT Josh Beckett again. 5 1/3 innings, 9 earned runs. Yeah, he had 8 Ks, which is nice, but he also had 12 hits and walks combined. Not that good. Southside Jamaican Queens beat Tiger Love Pepper 6-5-1. Manilow doubled his win totals, creeping into the double digits with 10 wins on the season already. Congratulations, Manilow. MVP Jason Worth, 4 home runs, a .360 average, and 27 total bases. GOAT Hideki Matsui, 136 average with 5 total bases. Also, Dallas Braden on your bench when he throws a perfect game. Enough said, Derek. Probably could have picked up a few more victories, but finally, Manilow got some luck. Then we're going to go Dropping Seeds, beat Team 8, 8-3-1. MVP, J.D. Drew in limited work, was 9 for 8, 8 runs. Runs was close this week, so that's huge. GOAT, Max Scherzer, 2 losses, 15 earned runs, and 20-something hits and walks combined. Short Bus beat Evil Empire, 6-4-2. MVP Joey Votto, 3 home runs, 23 total bases, and a .417 average. GOAT Donnie's whole offense is just gross. Besides Justin Morneau, McCann's disappeared after a quick start. Now we're going to move on to the predictions. We got the East versus the North here. The Gray Unit versus Web Gems. Hitting. Gray Unit's starting to get banged up offensively, but Ryan Braun is molten hot right now. Matty really only has 2 or 3 guys that he can rely on. Mauer, Pujols, and Hamilton, I guess, and so on. Other than that, it's real iffy. Mauer only 5 times this week. As he's coming off injury, we'll see. Pitching, Garza twice this week for the Gray Unit, and he also has better relievers. Chad Billingsley twice this week for Matty, and Matty only has 5 starters this week. Overall, I like the Gray Unit 7-5. Fist versus Third Base Club. Hitting, I like Howard in Colorado and Milwaukee this week. Also, Victor Martinez seems to be heating up. Chuck's offense seems to be clicking nicely. Also, he has 6 guys this week with full weeks, which include Jeter and Texera. Pitching, Ted Lilly twice. Also, Greinke has some tough luck this year. I think he's 0-4, but really hasn't pitched that bad. Chuck's going to need some help this week pitching, as he only has 4 starters. So, maybe have to work that waiver wire a little bit. Slide versus O's. Hitting. Yuke's heating up, but Cooksy's just a terrible manager. He's just not doing anything. So, I don't know. He's just going to be mediocre this year, I guess. And Kevin, he had an okay week last week. Sandoval, I think he'll turn around this week and get hot. Pitching, John Lackey twice. Plus, really, K-Rod is the only reliever. Kevin got the newly required Ricky Nolasco twice, and has far better relievers. I think Kevin's going to annihilate him 10-2 this week. Game of the week, Silent but Deadly versus the Twin Tornadoes. Hitting, as Evan Longoria and Adrian Gonzalez cool down, Ian Kinsler heats up. And Lomansky seems to be suffering from two things. One, injuries, and two, lack of talent. Other than A-Rod, offensively, not much. But I do like A-Rod this week. Brandon Morrow, Dice K, and Barry Zito, 2-start pitchers this week for Nick. Lomansky has only 5 starts with Millwood going against King Felix. Last time they met, I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago, King Felix got the better of that. I know what I do. Let's see what Lomansky does. Overall, in the game of the week, I like Nick 8-4. All right, let's jump over to the South versus the West. The Nation of Domination versus the Short Bus Crew. Pitching, Trevor Cahill. Bucks only 2-start pitcher this week. Also, Buck got Mo Rivera, who's seems to be banged up, and that's all he's got for relievers. Testa has nobody 2 starts this week, but I know he'll work that waiver and do his thing. He always does. He fills his needs nicely, also with better relievers. Offensively, last week, Buck had a pretty nice week. I like to see that continue into this week. And Miguel Cabrera, he's got Boston and New York home this week. It could go either way. Also, Justin Upton, where have you been? But it's okay. Andre Ethier has filled in very, very nicely. Good pickup there, Testa. Overall, I like Buck in the upset. 7-4-1. Evil Empire versus Smack Your Bitch Up. Pitching, Joel Pinheiro twice, but he got Lincecum versus Oswalt. Is he going to start them both? Hope for a pitcher's duel. Also, Lincecum, all 3 no decisions in the last 3 starts. That's going to be pretty frustrating for both him and Donnie. Martell, Tommy Hanson twice this week. I like that. Colby Lewis and Ricky Porcello also twice. Don't like Porcello as he struggled all year, and Colby Lewis has come back to life in recent starts. Also, Martell, way better relievers. Martell, kudos to you. 10 saves last week. That's pretty impressive. Hitting, Donnie, it's just not that good besides Justin Morneau. Just leave it at that. Martell's offense is just better, minus Gordon Beckham hitting 105 last week. Always on Gordon Beckham watch. Overall, I like Martell 9-3. Dropping Seeds versus Tiger Loves Pepper. Pitching, Arroyo and Nate Robinson twice this week. Also, I love Phil Hughes, Carpenter, and Cece. Dropping Seeds got a real nice staff. Antelope has Javier Vasquez twice this week after skipping a start. Offensively, Keith doesn't have a superstar on offense, but, he's getting the job done. He's putting up impressive power numbers, getting a lot of RBIs, a lot of runs, so kudos to Keith. Hopefully you can keep it up. Josh Willingham has been red hot of late, and he is a streaky player. Hopefully that continues for you, Manilow. Holiday is questionable for the early stages of the week, and Prince Fielder is heating up, it seems, with 2 home runs last week. So overall, I like Manilow to keep it close, but I still like Keith 7-4-1. And on to the other game of the week. Southside Jamaican Queens versus Tom. These 2 teams have been going in separate directions since they made that big blockbuster trade last year, where somehow Tom ended up with Tommy Hanson, Ryan Zimmerman, and Derek's second-round pick. And Derek ended up with Brandon Inge, Carlos Quinton, and Brad Hopp, and no second-round pick. So I'm gonna have to go out on a limb and say Tom got the better end of that. Anyways, enough with that. On to pitching. Scott Olson waved the blank twice this week for Tom. Last week, Olson almost had a no-no. Cliff Lee and John Main twice for Derek. Cliff Lee's back. Derek's going to be liking that. Plus, kudos to Derek. Matt Capps, double-digit saves thus far. Offensively, Tom's bats have hit a real cold spell lately, and Jason Worth, really all Derek's got lately. So I'm going to go out on a limb and predict a real ugly offensive week here. So overall, I like the Derek in an upset, mildly, 8-3-1. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this edition of Game of the Week. Next week, hopefully we'll get someone to jump on here. Tom was going across country, so maybe we can get him on. Other than that, I know Kevin wants to do it. So, I don't know. Let me know if you guys want to do it. We'll schedule something up, because I don't really want to do it alone anymore. So, till next week. Later, guys.